Good morning and welcome to our CTE Lunch Series. This week, Matt Wells and Ryan Curtis will provide an overview of the CTE-26 Provider Application, share application updates on the FY 2022-2026 program period, and identify how to renew expiring CTE-26 Provider applications. Today's session is streaming as a Microsoft Live event and is being recorded. Participants' video and microphone have been muted for this session. All communications can be sent using the QA feature in the Microsoft Live. Questions will be pulled throughout the session by the moderator and answered at the end of the presentation. This series will conclude on next Thursday, November 5th, with facilitated regional small group meetings where career technical education administrators can share success stories, identify best practices, and foster relationships within the career technical education community. Each Child, Our Future is Ohio's shared plan for ensuring that each student is challenged, prepared, and empowered for his or her future by the way of an excellent pre-kindergarten through grade 12 education. The whole child is at the center of the plan. The state-level vision provides an aspirational goal for students, parents, partners, and the education system. One goal represents the state's annual target. 3 core principles, 4 learning domains, and 10 priority strategies work together to support the whole child and enable the state-level vision and goal. The CTE-26 Provider Application is a tool for districts to assist students in identifying their path to future success. Career technical education is committed to preparing students for high skill, high wage, and in-demand occupations after graduation and beyond. Today, as we share information on the CTE-26 Provider Application, please reflect on how the application process can be used as a robust planning tool to create an inspiring experience for all students. During today's session, we will first share a new career technical education resource video that provides an overview of the CTE-26 Provider Application. We will review the CTE-26 Access, application workflow, the role of tech prep, and share key updates to the FY 2022-2026 program period application and renewal process. The Strengthening Career and Technical Education for the 21st Century Act, referred to in short as Perkins 5, Ohio's Revised Code, and Ohio Administrative Code set forth criteria for local programs of study and provider application approval. To assist districts with understanding required assurances, the Office of Career Technical Education has created a brief resource video that outlines the key considerations districts shall consider when operating a career technical education program.
Hello and welcome to the Ohio Department of Education Office of Career Technical Education CTE-26 Provider Application Overview. My name is Matt Wells. I am the Education Program Specialist managing Law and Public Safety, Health Science, and Human Services. I have the privilege to work with the Career Technical Education Provider Application team to monitor and develop the program approvals. I will be presenting a general overview of the Career Technical Education Program Application Process, CTE-26. In this overview, we will identify what a CTE-26 provider application is, the types of career technical programs that require approval from the Office of Career Technical Education, and the considerations districts will need to review when completing a CTE-26 program application. There are several things that you need to consider while you are preparing your CTE-26 for submission. These considerations will assist you in completing the CTE-26 in an efficient and accurate manner. Ultimately, this may assure a well-planned and sustainable CTE program. The CTE-26 is an application for primary approval for a new CTE program, or a renewal application for an existing career technical education program. A CTE-26 is required for a school or a district to qualify for state funding for a CTE program. The application approval and EMIS reporting generate career technical education supplemental funds. This presentation will discuss the types of CTE-26 applications, the stakeholders involved in the process, and the assurances that a school must provide the Ohio Department of Education in order for approval to be granted. There are 4 types of CTE-26 applications based on the type of program request for approval. This choice will be one of the first ones made when starting the application process. The 4 types of applications are Career Field Pathway Program, CBI Program, FCS Grads Program, and Industry Credentialing Only Program. A school should select the Career Field Pathway Program if they're applying for a workforce development program in any career field. This program type is appropriate for all applications except CBI, FCS and Grads, and Industry Credentialing Only Program. A school should select Career-Based Intervention Program if they're applying for a CBI program. The FCS and Grads program is selected when a school is applying for a Family Consumer Science or Graduation Reality and Dual Role Skills program that is not a workforce development program. Industry Credentialing Only program should be selected if a school is applying for a senior-only credentialing program that will offer an industry credential for students that have met the qualification to be indicated as seniors. The first consideration is in demand. Will this CTE program prepare students for careers that generate a sustaining wage? Does the program align with the state, regional, and local economic demands for employment? You should consider the availability and access that students have to the program within the Career Tech Planning District. A critical jobs list was created in collaboration with the Governor's Children's Initiative, Recovery Ohio, and the Governor's Office of Workforce Transformation. These critical jobs were identified through the help of experts and stakeholders in 8 career clusters and ensure that the state's workforce supports the health and well-being of Ohioans, their families, and their communities. Ohio's top job list plays an important function as it directs 85% of federal job training funds offered through Ohio Means Job Centers. You should consider consulting your stakeholder or your advisory committees that are established within your district to assist you in identifying local industry needs. The collection of data for the purpose of quality and accountability is important for any program. This process will assist the program in identifying growth and opportunities for improvement. The Ohio Department of Education has developed the Quality Program Standards tool to assist districts in the process. This tool provides districts with 10 standards and 51 quality indicators to evaluate program quality. The tool includes a description of standards as well as a rubric to assist in review of the program. Continuous evaluation and improvement should be the goal of any program to ensure that students receive the best opportunity for success. The third consideration is the opportunity for students to earn college credit and industry-recognized credentials, or both, through high-quality programs of study. This should be the established career pathway for every career technical education program from grades 7 through 12. The program should clearly communicate industry and educational outcomes that successful students can achieve, resulting in continued higher education opportunities or sustainable employment. These outcomes ideally would be aligned with all the required Department of Education, career technical content, and academic standards. An established program of study, in conjunction with involvement in a career technical student organization, will assist the program in fulfilling this. 4 links have been included for your convenience to review the current industry recognized credential list, Career Technical Assurance Guide, Career Field Technical Content Standards, and the Department of Education Academic Content Standards. The program must meet all state and federal requirements with regard to access, non-discrimination, and meeting of performance expectations for special populations, including preparation for careers in industry sectors requiring technical expertise. The goal of every career technical program is to consider all aspects of programming through the lens of equity and access for all students. All districts receiving state career technical education supplemental funds for career technical education programs and courses shall annually report performance data on measures identified by the Ohio Department of Education. The Strengthening Career and Technical Education for the 21st Century Act, Perkins 5, requires the state of Ohio to set state performance measures for a required set of indicators of performance for career technical education concentrators. The state performance level indicators are technical skill attainment, post-program placement, work-based learning, non-traditional program enrollment, academic attainment indicators, and graduation rates. The included link will direct you to the Career Technical Education Data and Accountability Guidebook for more details on the state performance indicators and requirements. The distance and time that students spend commuting to the Career Technical Education program should be evaluated. The time and distance should be reasonable in consideration of the program starting and ending times. School administrators, business, community members, and teachers should be committed to supporting the operations of the program. This support should be demonstrated through adequate planning, access to appropriate facilities, commitment of financial resources, and retention of qualified educators. Perkins funds may be used to offset some of these costs. The completion of a comprehensive local needs assessment will assist you in identifying strategies for developing quality programs, as well as allocation of approved Perkins funds. These funds may be limited, and you should consult your district's treasurer for further clarification. Included is a link to Carl Perkins' 5 state plan that will explain data and accountability, equity, comprehensive local needs assessment, and high-quality programs of study. Your facilities and equipment should support the instruction of the technical and academic content standards. The program of study in conjunction with the facilities and equipment should reflect current and emerging technologies in a specific career technical education program content area. In any fiscal year, a school district receiving funds should spend those funds only for the purposes that the Department of Education designates as approved for career technical education expenses. Career technical education expenses approved by the Department of Education should only include expenses connected to the delivery of career technical education programming to career technical education students. These expenditures should be reported annually. At least 75% of the funds should be spent on curriculum development, instructional resources, supplies, industry-based program certifications, student assessments, credentialing, curriculum-specific equipment, purchases and leases, career technical student organization fees and expenses, work-based learning experiences, professional development, and other costs directly associated with career technical education programs, including the development of new programs. Additionally, no more than 25% of the funds should be used for personnel expenditures. For further clarification, contact your district's treasurer. The 6 College Tech Prep Regional Centers serves as the liaison to Ohio's 91 Career Tech Planning Districts, 23 community colleges, and 14 universities to ensure high-quality career technical education programs for all students. The regional centers work with their educational partners to increase student access to quality career technical education pathways that provide opportunities to earn college credit while in high school. The College Tech Prep Regional Centers are jointly managed by the Ohio Department of Higher Education and the Ohio Department of Education Office of Career Technical Education. Please contact your regional representative for assistance in completing the CTE-26 process. The link included will direct you to the Tech Prep regional points of contact. Beginning fiscal year 2020, the process for renewing CTE-26 applications is transitioning from renewing based on program to renewing based on the expiration of the approved program application. In the past, a chart was provided indicating the fiscal renewal year for each program. The program renewal chart will no longer be used. Career Tech Education Program approval will now be focused around the approval window of the program application rather than the program. Approved CTE programs are valid for 5 consecutive fiscal years. Local districts will submit renewal applications for programs that are in their last fiscal year of the current approved application as indicated by the CTE-26 system. For example, programs with approval for period FY 2017 through FY 2021 will renew by March 1st, 2021, allowing programs to remain effective FY 2022 through FY 2026. Please refer to the current approval period for your program as indicated in the CTE-26 system. The following timelines govern the process for submitting new CTE-26 program applications or applications for program renewal. The application process will tentatively open on November 1st, 2020. The lead district in the Career Tech Planning District is responsible for approving or disapproving a program application no later than March 1st, 2021. Submit the approval program application to the Ohio Department of Education by March 15th, 2021. The Ohio Department of Education will renew the program application and notify your district of approval or disapproval by May 15th, 2021. Thank you for attending today's presentation. If you have any questions or need further clarification on any of the material presented today, please feel free to contact me, or you may contact your district's assigned education program specialist. Thank you.
Now that we have reviewed key considerations when planning, you're ready to access the CTE-26 web application. The electronic application process is in the OHID portal that has replaced the former SAFE system. If you are new to the OHID portal, I encourage you to use the Take a Tour resource option at the top of the page. After entering the portal, select the CTE-26 web app. If the web application does not appear in your applications, you may need to add the application or verify that you have the proper OEDS roles for accessing the CTE-26 system. A full list of OEDS roles with access to the CTE-26 web application can be found on the CTE-26 process landing page on the Ohio Department of Education website under Topics, Career Tech Roles. Roles are specific to each IRN. Users with roles assigned to multiple IRNs will need to ensure they are acting on behalf of the correct provider IRN. Generally, the most common personnel roles with access to the system are the superintendent and superintendent designee. These roles have permissions to create, edit, submit, and approve provider applications. Supervisors or directors, career technical, education general, may only create an application. Personnel with the role of EMIS coordinator may search applications and view applications for the IRN their role is assigned. We encourage districts to review and update OEDS rules annually to ensure the district personnel can access the CTE-26 web application and not create delays. After accessing the web application, the system will ask you to identify the organization IRN you are representing. When beginning a new CTE-26 application, it must be started under the pathway owning district IRN. CTPD IRNs cannot be used to create a pathway application. After selecting the org IRN you are representing, select the program type for the application to be created. Career field pathway, career-based intervention, family and consumer science grads, or industry credential senior-only program applications are available through the CTE-26 system. Selecting the program type will direct you to the provider search screen appropriate for the module. Located at the top middle of the provider search screen is a drop-down menu where you may start a new or renew a provider application. For detailed directions on completing the application, please visit the CTE-26 process landing page on the Ohio Department of Education website and access the FY 2022 CTE-26 manual. The new manual and resources will be available Sunday, November 1st, prior to the window opening. The CTE-26 provider application workflow is important to ensuring applications are timely in their submission. Generally, an application that is well planned and properly communicated with stakeholders will move efficiently through the application process. Applications completed and submitted by local districts of joint vocational districts are initially reviewed and approved by College Tech Prep regional consultants. Once the initial application is Tech Prep approved, the district superintendent or superintendent designee must district approve the application once a district has been approved on its initial submission. The lead district superintendent in the Career Tech Planning District may approve or disapprove or take no action on the application and forwarding the application to the Ohio Department of Education Office of Career Technical Education for final approval. Community schools and STEM school applications follow the same workflow with the addition of the community school sponsor approval. After the community or STEM school has approved their initial application, community school sponsors may approve the application and forward the application to the assigned lead career tech planning district. If an application requires correction needed, the application will be returned to the districts with guidance through the comments and history log in the CTE-26 system. Additional comments or conversations may be via email or by phone. The workflow for correction needed maintains the approval process from the point of the correction and only requires the application to be submitted at its last point of approval. For additional application workflow examples, please visit the CTE-26 process landing page for an additional resource as well as the user manual. Ohio College Tech Prep Regional Consultants are located across 6 Jobs Ohio regions at Ohio's public colleges and universities. Regional consultants are outstanding local resources for technical assistance. Each Tech Prep region will be hosting professional development opportunities related to CTE-26 applications, programs of study, and industry connections. Tech Prep are experts in assisting districts in identifying pathway alignment, college credit opportunities, and program of studies. We encourage schools to work with their Tech Prep regions in planning and submitting provider applications. Tech Prep is the initial approver of an application that ensures the program of study meets all minimum standards. Please use the link in the previous video to access the regional point of contacts or visit the Ohio Department of Education website. The FY 2022-2026 provider application has been updated to reflect suggestions from a small group of CTE administrators and Ohio Tech Prep regional consultants. On the Overview tab, the system application now captures the personnel details of the district staff who initially created the application. This aims to help clearly communicate with district staff directly working on the application. The second update is to the Courses tab. To improve clarity, the titles for post-secondary courses and integrated secondary academic courses have been separated. This aims to ensure that a program of study clearly identifies those courses required in an approved program of study. The third update to this program period's application is how the state displays in-demand and critical occupations related to the pathway application being submitted. This summer, the Governor's Office of Workforce Transformation began to identify both in-demand and critical occupations as part of Ohio's top job list. The Labor Market Demand tab will include both in-demand and critical occupations aligned to the career field pathway application. CTE-26 Renewals. The FY 2022-2026 is the first year in the electronic system that has been developed that applications have come due for renewal on the expiration. Those applications that were submitted and approved in 2016 for the FY 2017, FY 2021 program period are due to expire on June 30 of 2021. In order for those applications not to lapse, renewal needs to take place. There's no need to create a new application in the system as we have created a renewal process that allows districts to only renew those applications that are due to expire at the end of this program period. When selecting the CTE-26 Renewals application, districts will be able to identify the building in which the application is to be renewed, which will allow the system to review any pathway applications due to expire. Based on the building, the pathways available for renewal will be populated. At the same time, the type of program that was initially approved in the 2017-2021 program period will populate. This field is able to be edited and updated throughout the application process. Once you select the pathway and program type to renew, the courses under CTE Required Technical will come forward from your previously approved application. However, because program requirements may have changed due to law or federal legislation, the curriculum code and hours min and max for the course may no longer be valid and must be renewed or updated by the district. Districts can review the courses that were previously part of the program of study and update those by adding the new course codes with the proper curriculum code and course min and max alignment. Please reference the CTE Program and Assessment Matrix located on the Ohio Department of Education website CTE landing page for further guidance on course codes and their minimum and maximum allowable curriculum code hours. It is also important to know that we have advanced our process with CTAGs related to career technical education courses. Some of those courses that may have been part of your application in the 2017-2021 program period were not eligible or did not have a CTAG aligned. Over those past 5 years, CTAGs may now be eligible for those courses in your previous application. In order to ensure that those CTAGs auto-populate in the College Credit Opportunities page, you will need to add those new course codes to your program of study. Again, we have pulled forward those previous courses that were approved to help guide districts on where they were in their application previously. The Pathway tab of your previous application has come forward as a blank slate, allowing districts the opportunity to review college credit opportunities with their Tech Prep regional consultants. The Pathway tab allows districts to identify college credit opportunities that may be bilateral articulation agreements, college credit plus courses, or newly aligned statewide CTAG agreements. This is an opportunity for districts to review those post-secondary pathway opportunities that align to the pathway to be renewed. Renewal best practices. We encourage districts to only renew those applications that are expiring in 2021. Please do not use the new application feature to create an application for an already existing valid program application. If more than one application per provider location and created by owner exists, do not renew until the most current approved application is due to expire. Again, if you have a program pathway application that is a duplication due to expire this year with a current application not due to expire for a few years to come, please do not renew the application at this time. This also is a best practice to update all college credit opportunities, and we again encourage you to work with your Tech Prep regional consultants as you work to submitting your renewed application. This concludes our presentation portion of our lunch series today. Questions about the CTE-26 provider application may be submitted through the QA feature on your screen. Our presenters will have those questions read aloud by our moderator. And for any CTE-26 questions that are not able to be answered during today's session, you may contact the Office of Career Technical Education by emailing CTE-26@education.ohio.gov. And our moderator today, Dee Sturgill, is going to share questions with us, and we will do our best to answer them. And again, if we're unable to answer a question today, we will go ahead and follow up by email with you. So thank you. Dee?
Ryan, we have no questions at this time. Or I'm in the wrong, I'm in the wrong category. First question. Can you please change the CTE 26 application portal where you go in and switch the pathway within the application without having to back out and start over each time? That application that we end up not using remains in the system as withdrawn.
And Dee, I can give a response to that. That statement is we encourage you to just ensure that the pathway that you are looking to plan to operate, that the initial process in the system really hinges on and relies on that foundation element of selecting the pathway code. And unfortunately, with records retention, we're unable to remove any of those records where an application was created in an incident or an accident. So I understand that that does muddy the water and makes things a little bit more difficult to search. But I would encourage you as you're working with those applications to use the status search feature within the provider application search page to help minimize seeing a lot of withdrawn applications that were just submitted in error that had to be withdrawn. So again, understand that concern. We continue to evaluate how we can improve the process and making sure that we don't have a lot of those applications. So thank you.
If two schools, each with different CTE 26 approved programs, share a campus and want students from one school to take a CTE course at the other school, is this allowable without having to have two separate approved CTE 26 programs at each school for the same pathway? In other words, if a student from high school A wanted to take culinary at high school B, and this is the only class the student would take, does high school A have to have a culinary CTE 26 as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the best practice here from a reporting standpoint is you should be reporting the location in which the student received the course. And so if the course is only being offered at one location, it just needs to be that location that has the 26. And that is the location the student needs to be reported for that class period. And so when it comes down to reporting, I also would share the advice that it does not hurt to have additional applications in the system, even if they're unused. It just is a preliminary approval to allow districts to report those courses to EMIS. And so again, best practice here is we should be reporting the student in the course at the location in which they're taking the course, and that location should have an approved CTE 26 on file with the Office of Career Technical Education.
Okay, the next question. What should a school district do if their CTPD denied their CTE 26?
Great, great question. So CTE 26s that are denied by the CTPD do have the eligibility to be appealed. And so there is a status under the status and flags tab that once a district CTPD has disapproved or taken no action on their application, if the school district believes that that is not the consideration that they were hoping to receive, that they can appeal that by changing the status to appealed. And there is an appeal process where the department and the CTPD and the district that submitted the application work together to resolve any unanswered questions or issues. I will share that most of the time that we've run into the need to appeal an application, a lot of it comes down to communication. So be sure that you're communicating early and often with your lead districts and your career tech planning districts to ensure that they understand your intent to operate a program that's under their purview, and ask them for their assistance because they are the experts regionally for career technical education.
Thank you, Ryan. Next question. If ODE does not approve your application, can you make changes and resubmit them, or do you have to wait until the next application cycle?
Yeah, so if we send a application back for correction needed, would be the status, we would send it back. That would indicate that we are allowing the district to modify and make corrections based on our recommendations to show that they meet the minimum standards for program approval. However, if the Department of Education would make a final action of disapproval or would terminate an application, those are final actions at this time. However, we are in the spirit of making sure that all students have access and really try to do our best to work with each individual applicant to make sure that they can uphold and meet those standards and be approved to be a provider of career technical education. But great question. Thank you.
Next question. If my district does not have an approved ICO program, but I have seniors this year that could benefit from industry certifications offered in an approved program, may I offer the program for a senior-only credential?
So senior-only credential programs are a specific program type and do require prior approval to the school year. And so if they were not approved as of May 15th last year by the Office of Career Technical Education, there would not be any additional weighted funding for those senior-only credentials because they wouldn't be part of an approved program. However, we still have credentials and credential reimbursement processes that are out there. And so we encourage districts to continue to look at how to provide credentials. And we can definitely follow up on what that looks like. And we would encourage you to look at those senior-only options for the 2022 school year going forward and getting those put in place so that you have the ability to have access to those additional supplemental funds.
Okay, we have a district that is having difficulties with symbols, and they ask if we can fix the CTE-26 application process so that it doesn't reject any special symbols. When we copy and paste the post-secondary courses, we often have to delete certain symbols.
That's one that I'm going to ask that you email to CTE-26@education.ohio.gov. I don't know the specifics to that and would love to give that some testing to see if that is something we can fix from an IT development process or standpoint. So again, great question. I did not know that this was an issue and would love to have that emailed to us so we could take a look. So again, if you can email us at CTE-26@education.ohio.gov with that specific question, that will allow us to ensure that we follow up on it. So thank you.
Okay, is there anything we can do before November 1st?
Yes, you can definitely be doing things over the next day, 2 days or the weekend. So key things that you can be doing is go ahead and go into the provider search system and evaluate those applications that were approved in the 2017-2021 program period. And that will give you an idea of the number of applications that you'll need to renew. And you can kind of start to set up a process to get those applications renewed, to ensure that the college credit opportunities are up to date and valid, and to ensure that the courses you have selected are the courses that you feel make the best program of study going forward. So that is definitely a positive step that you can do before the application process is open here November 1st.
Okay, next question. I do not know how the rest of the field feels, but it seems easier when an entire pathway had to be renewed. I know this might create doing a CTE 26 2 years in a row, but it is hard to keep track of all ag CTE 26s when you have many feeder schools, and ag is just one example.
I appreciate that comment and feedback. We have developed some internal processes that I think will help communicate to districts. We have identified the building level principal, the application owner, superintendent, and superintendent designee that will receive notification of those particular applications that are expiring and need renewed. So we're hoping that our communication will be strong this year with the renewal process being the first year for it. And we plan to probably over communicate for some people's taste, but we want to ensure that no district misses the opportunity to renew and make sure that the message is loud and clear. So I do appreciate the comment, but we're hoping and relying on our communication to ensure that everyone understands what programs are up for renewal.
Next question. Can we run courses in a pathway at the same time class period if they are coded differently for EMIS?
Dee, can you read that one more time?
Sure. Can we run courses in a pathway at the same time or class period if they are coded differently for EMIS?
So this is more of an EMIS question, and our data manager wasn't able to join us today. So I'm going to defer on this question, but would ask that that's a follow-up question by email, again, to the CTE-26 email, and we can follow up with that. In general, I think I know the answer to it, but I don't want to misspeak and provide inaccurate information. So I'm going to defer this question and make sure I consult with our data manager, but thank you for that question. Dee, I see you responded in the chat. There was a question, are JTC still approved through this process? I just want to make sure that everybody understands that JTC job training coordination programs are our M3 pathway and are part of the career field pathway application process. And if you're operating a job training coordination program, please ensure that you have an approved M3 pathway on file with the office, and just double check and make sure that that is not up for renewal this year. But that's a good question. We often refer to it as JTC, but it is titled as the M3 pathway in workforce development. Dee, do we have any other questions?
I'm sorry, I was muted. One of our districts has 2 valid F6s. One expires in FY21 and the other in FY23, but both have bilateral agreements with different universities. Should they renew the one that expires in FY21?
So because the program approval of FY23 is in force, we do not require you to renew that FY21 based on the bilateral agreement alone. That bilateral can exist outside of the approved application. Applications do not require districts to adhere to particular courses or requirements. They do allow the flexibility within the 5-year program period to offer college credit opportunities. You know, a CTAG comes on board, the district explores College Credit Plus. So those things are all still available for that FY23 application. And in order to help us clean up the system, again, this is only the 6th or going into the 5th full year of the application process. It will help us out immensely to try to limit the duplicated approved applications for a specific provider location and owner. So with that, please ensure that that FY23 meets all the same requirements as the FY21 from a location and ownership standpoint, but we would ask you not to renew until that FY23 application comes due to expire.
Okay, next question. When programs are shared by a partner school, 2 teachers, and a career center, 1 teacher, how do both submit for the program courses they teach?
Great question. And so when this appears, we just need to ensure that the district who is going to own the teacher or be responsible for the teacher is the applicant at the same provider location and pathway. And then the Career Center would also submit an application as the created by owner with their district IRN for the same provider location IRN. If you encounter any issues with both districts submitting applications for the same pathway at the same location, please reach out to us and we will work with you. This is not uncommon, but it is a more rare occurrence that the system, sometimes we have to do a little bit of manual manipulation with IT developers to ensure both are sitting there in the same year. So again, should be submitted by each district for that same location. So there should be 2 applications. And again, if you run into any issues accomplishing this, please reach out to our office and we will work with you to get that taken care of.
Next question. Can districts get an approval letter like we used to use once a program is approved? Because some employers require them.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And we have drafted language for an approval letter, and we hope to have that implemented in early March with our IT developers. So that was one other of the things that came out of that small work group of CTE administrators and college tech prep as a request from the CTE educational community. And so we are working towards that and should have that deployed and can make that known once it's available. But great question, and thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Next question. When I try to use the export function for CTE-26s, I receive a list of 6,534 results. I am receiving results for schools all over the state, not just for my district or CTPD.
Yeah, this is a known issue that we continue to work through. We have been faced with some issues concerning that the current system for CTE-26 has not been established on our cloud service. And so the resources it takes for individual search functions of results to populate tend to be high demand for the infrastructure, as these are the words IT uses to tell me they're not there yet on this request. This is in our queue of request with IT for the system. And we just asked everybody to continue to share those concerns, and we'll continue to bring that one up. We do anticipate over the next year to 2 years that this program application will be part of the statewide move to a cloud service, which will give us a little bit better ability to filter search results and provide those in an export file.
What were the questions on the labor market alignment tab that we need to respond to on the CTE-26?
So labor market demand, the questions are only going to be answered by career fields that have not, not career fields, pathways that have not been identified with significant in-demand occupations. And so we will determine that based on the list currently for the FY22-2026 program period, the performing arts and cosmetology pathways are the only ones that did not identify statewide significant demand and will need to answer these questions and provide support documents. But the three questions, initial questions, are what drove your district's decision to apply or renew this program of study? What are the career and post-secondary opportunities for students who graduate from this pathway to follow? And programs and study must align with labor market needs. How does this program of study align to the needs of your local labor market? What current or projected opportunities exist in these career pathways for students graduating from this pathway? I do want to note that the program labor market demand alignment will not disqualify an application from approval. It may, however, limit the provider on the use of Perkins funding to implement that pathway. And so that is spelled out in our user manual fairly thoroughly and provides evidence. But again, we provide two different ways for districts to have the opportunity to demonstrate local demand that meets the statewide demand data definitions and provide that as a resource. We also have not used this to disapprove an application. We use it more as a guidance to determining how funds can be used to operate the program.
Next question. How do you display the programs that a school is offering in OHID to check classes, etc.?
So you can't actually display it in OHID. You actually need to go into the CTE Web 26 application, provider search, and then you'll have to look at a detail of the course outline that was submitted. This does not display the courses being reported to EMIS. This is what the district reported at the initial application that they intended to offer. And so if you want to know programs that a school is offering and the course level data, you need to work with that district specifically in their EMIS reports. If this question is intended to be from a career tech planning district who is supervising multiple providers under, and they want to review what pathways are being offered, they just need to select the CTPD's IRN from the drop-down menu when they come into the web application portal, and that will allow them to see everything under the purview of the CTPD and can filter search results that way. I will say we have a 2-minute warning here, so Dee will take one more question, and then any questions again that we were unable to answer that want to have follow-up, you can contact our office and we'll be happy to respond in kind, and appreciate the opportunity to have everyone on today. So Dee, one more question and then we will allow people to go.
ICOs do not indicate a pathway. How can you tell the difference between the programs without proceeding?
So unfortunately, right now, there is no designation for those individual ICO programs because each one is unique in its own standard. They're not aligned specifically to a workforce development pathway or a career field. They are gathered in career clusters based on the state's industry credential list. So we have been working at how do we identify that cluster, and so that would help districts with those applications. However, even within a cluster of credentials, you may have 5 or 6 applications that have a different set of credentials that a district is offering. And so we have not identified a really good way. If you have suggestions on how we can maybe display that, we would love to hear that feedback, but this is a known concern. It's even a concern within the office due to the fact we're trying to approve and evaluate those applications and provide feedback. So we will continue to work on that, but if you do have suggestions or ideas, please feel free to share those, and we would be appreciative. It is 1 o'clock, so we are out of time today. We really appreciate everyone joining. Look forward to the resources being posted. Again, College Tech Prep Regional Consultants are the best resource you have available to you. I know a lot of them are working virtually right now, but please make yourself known with them and set up times to work with them and look for their professional development opportunities. Again, thank you from the Office of Career Technical Education, and you all have a wonderful afternoon.